Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 2021 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we head to race number 2 of this 10 race final season of this Career Mode, and it is a track that I kind of struggled at in the past and was kind of expecting to struggle at here again as we start the whole regret of switching to Mercedes, leaving McLaren now, as we felt it in full force in the last episode in Imola, and now here we are going into Portimao, a track where I've been kind of known to struggle at, and now we're going into this with a car that's not as good as what I had previously here, so I was not sure what to expect coming into this one there. Valtteri Bottas, unfortunately, our Mercedes BWT teammate there, retired in the last episode on just the opening lap of that GP after picking up some significant damage there to his car, and we come through into Portugal hoping for a better race for Valtteri and hoping for just a solid race for myself as well. I've already kind of accepted here with a 10 race season there's going to need to be either an absolutely insane R&D run from this team or some luck on our side if we want to be a championship threat here, so it's going to be very, very difficult to say the least here now as we would get underway in this free practice 1 session here. And I was trying to get to grips with this car, but this Mercedes has been a new challenge. I've certainly been struggling to adapt to it here in these opening moments of this final season. Still obviously have a good chunk of a way to go, but obviously this season as well as the shortest season we've ever had in this F1 2021 career mode here now as we jump through straight into qualifying. You can see their practice time wasn't the hottest here now as we come through into a wet circuit here in qualifying. The second weekend in a row we're going to have a wet qualifying, which I really don't think helps me whatsoever here now, as I've certainly not been known to be the strongest when it comes to wet weather conditions, and unfortunately in Imola it rained there. We missed Q3, we made it to Q2 but we missed Q3, and I was kind of expecting the same here, to be honest here, and we would make it to Q2 after a second attempt here on the intermediate compound of tire, and we got in with a 13th place effort. Bottas well up inside the top 10, but we come through now into the second qualifying session here, hoping that I could find just a little bit more in this car to try and get myself into Q3 for the first time this season here, but I knew it was going to be a challenge, and sure enough it was definitely exactly what it would be. It was a challenge for sure. Now as you can see myself rounding through the final couple of corners here in my first attempt here, and I would actually end up having to make 3 attempts actually here. You can see my second attempt. So the first one, we were only P15 on the first lap here in Q2. I found about 0.6 of a second here on this second attempt of a lap, and it still wasn't enough. P12. So I go out for another run here, the same run but one more lap here, and we would end up finding right at the end of this session another chunk of time here now. 4 tenths, 4.5 tenths, closing in on 5 tenths, 6.5 tenths to cross the line, and still not enough. We end up P12 here, and that's where we will start for the Portuguese GP here. Not what we needed, and unfortunately our teammate Bottas blows us away here. So we're gonna head to the grid, but we got some work to do. Let's head to the grid here in Portugal.
The Formula One circus has made its way to the southern coast of Portugal this week, and it's preparing for what I expect to be a terrific race here in Portimao. So Portimao features 15 turns over the course of its 2.9 mile length. 9 are right-handers, 6 are to the left, and this is a track with a lot of uphill action, which only accentuates the importance of getting those exits right, especially at turn 4, where a good line can present opportunities to pass on the way into turn 5. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas and Vettel, Giovinazzi, Leclerc, Sainz and the Golden Boy, Matsushita, Lundgaard, Yuki Tsunoda. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Russell. Mick Schumacher, Ocon, Nicholas Latifi and Lance Stroll. They've taken a grid penalty. Joe and Callum Islands. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
There you have the starting grid here as we are ready to go in Portugal, and we gain a couple of positions there after some grid penalties. So here we are starting in 10th place on the soft compound tire. Very straightforward strategy here today. We start on the soft compound tire, one-stop strategy. We're going to switch over to the hard compound and go to the end of this GP here now as we are ready to get underway. We get to the grid now. It's going to be Red Bull up on the front row with Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, but Pierre Gasly. Watch out for Pierre Gasly there in P3. Could be in a nice spot to, of course, pounce on an opportunity. Our team at BOTTAS all the way up there in 5th place as we're ready to go racing. It's going to be 5 red lights and lights out. We are underway. It's a good start for Red Bull, but an even better start for Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. He's going to overtake both Verstappen and Norris around the outside into turn 1. A new leader right off the bat here. It's Pierre Gasly. What a start there from Gasly here as we head down in through these first couple of corners. Everybody kind of getting through here. Nice, calm, and steady there. As you can see, the McLarens were both able to get in front of BOTTAS, as well as it looks like one of the Williams got in front of BOTTAS as well here. Now, as you can actually see, speaking of Williams Porsche, there was a Williams way off the pace, and that was actually Matsushita, and he would have an accident here in turn 1 that was completely missed on the broadcast. But here you can see right here some contact with Yuki Tsunoda, and he would go around and he would be at the back of the grid. So it was Pierre Gasly leading at the conclusion of lap 1 over Max Verstappen. What a start from Gasly there in the AlphaTauri. Great launch off the grid from Pierre here. Now, as everything settles out already here, and actually a bit of a moment for myself, but we started P10, we lost 1 spot there, down to P11, just behind Yuki Tsunoda. He was now in a battle with Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. He would get past the Monegascan here now, as I was trying to, of course, run down Leclerc here momentarily and be able to use that DRS in my advantage already on lap 3, but it wasn't until lap 4 when I got the opportunity to do this right here, make the pass on Leclerc. Ferrari doesn't quite have the pace this season here, and they're definitely going to be struggling. There was quite a bit of an R&D change this season here. AlphaTauri is really good right now. The BMW team that replaced Aston Martin is actually really strong as well, although Lance Stroll currently down in 12th place. Some work to do for him, but Antonio Giovinazzi right now running up towards the top 5, actually ahead of our teammate of Valtteri Bottas. But you can see us closing in on the Spaniard of Carlos Sainz here, and we would be able to make a pass here on Carlos Sainz down the front straightaway, coming to lap 7 and up into now 9th place we go. Bottas currently 7th, but being run down by Tsunoda on that soft compound tire. Bottas on that medium compound tire, going to go a little bit longer, of course, than all of the drivers here that are on the soft compound, which is a very large majority of drivers here. Now, as we got into this 9th position, then I was kind of struggling here to find the pace that I needed. I was just really struggling this weekend. That's all there is to it here. Now, on lap 10, though, here goes Max Verstappen with the help of the DRS, gets to the right-hand side of Gasly. They're going to be side by side, wheel to wheel. Norris ready to pounce if an opportunity opens up, maybe with some contact, but Gasly is going to actually lose out to Verstappen as Verstappen takes the lead here in Portugal. As you can see, Norris was just behind. Then it would spice up a little bit more about a lap or so later, coming to lap 11 of this GP. Norris now all over the gearbox, looks up the inside of Gasly. They're going to be wheel to wheel into turn 1, and this time Gasly once again goes around that left-hand side, not trying to give it up here. This is where Verstappen got Gasly on the last side, but this time Gasly might have learned something there. He still remains alongside Lando Norris there. He loses out on the exit of the corner, but here comes Danny Rick here in the McLaren. He's going to go 3 wide around the outside. Gasly lunges up the inside of Norris, and who's going to come out on top of this? I think it's going to be actually Daniel Ricciardo who's going to pounce on everybody here, scrapping it out, and sure enough, here he goes wheel to wheel with Norris here. There's no way Norris comes out of this battle right here on top, but he's going to continue to fight around that left-hand side, and he has the edge at the moment. Gasly with a great view of this absolutely beautiful wheel to wheel scrap. Tremendous racing here in Portugal now, but it is eventually going to be Daniel Ricciardo here taking 2nd place in Portimao as Norris falls into 3rd place now. As we come through to lap 12 for myself, pit window open now. We'll be coming into the pits at the conclusion of lap 12 to put on our set of hard compound tires. Our only pit stop, hopefully, in this Portuguese GP. Now, as we continue to run P9 and into the pit lane we go, Sebastian Vettel in the McLaren, your Imola GP winner from race number 1, is as well in the pit lane, and you can see as well the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz has stayed up, but his teammate Charles Leclerc comes in just behind myself. So we're going to exit, and I was kind of paying attention. I noticed Lance Stroll on the BMW was on the move. He came out in front of Leclerc, actually was in front of Leclerc when they came into the pits, but now he is pretty close to me. I knew it was just a matter of time until that BMW was going to get past me, because BMW has way more pace than this Mercedes does currently in this season. I was hoping for a little bit of help, maybe to get some traffic in between myself and fellow Canadian of Lance Stroll. We had Nicholas Latifi, who was staying a little bit longer on the medium compound tire in between us, and then fortunately I would be able to get Carlos Sainz in between myself and Lance Stroll. So Lance would actually have to scrap it out with Lance Stroll here. Sorry, Carlos Sainz he would have to scrap it out with, but unfortunately right off the bat I didn't pull away. Carlos Sainz was able to actually close up right to me, and Stroll was only about 0.6 of a second behind, but fortunately it would end up kind of working out, because they would actually start battling each other here with the DRS for Stroll, who would get right up to Sainz, and that would actually allow me to pull away a little bit. But Stroll would eventually pass Sainz. That was about 2.5 seconds ahead of Carlos, but then Stroll was only about 0.6 of a second and closing behind myself here. So we held him off for this lap coming to lap 17, but by the time we come through to the next lap, lap 18, I had nothing for him. I just let off the throttle once he pulled over to the right, let him go, have the position. Lance, that was a big save right there. We nearly looped it around as we continue to hold on to at least a points position here in P10. As you can see the mid-race update now, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and the BMW of Antonio Giovinazzi there in 5th place. Gasly all the way now down to 6th place. Zhou Guanyu, your only retirement of this race here so far, it was just a simple mechanical failure. That's why I did not bother showing that, but in case you were wondering, it was just a mechanical issue there as we continue to run in P10, and the two Ferraris of Sainz and Leclerc about 3.5 seconds behind. They're within the DRS range of each other and could be lining up for a potential battle here now, as other than of course some epic wheel-to-wheel battles and opening lap chaos, it's been a really very calm GP here in Portimao here, and we look at coming into these closing laps of this GP for a 10th place finish, which is not necessarily where we want to be, but definitely, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of pace in this Mercedes BWT machine at this point in time. You can see Bottas, our teammate in 8th place, actually blew me away today. Bottas had so much more pace than I did here in Portimao, which is really frustrating here. I just didn't quite have it today, but then on lap 29, Jeff comes and tells me that Bottas has an issue, and it's actually a tire puncture that Bottas has. His left front tire is punctured. He has to come into the pit lane, of course, to fix that immediately, get a new set of tires. He's going to put on the soft compound tires, but I would be able to just get way ahead of Valtteri. He would come out behind the Ferraris of Sainz and Leclerc, but his pace was so strong that he was only stuck behind Leclerc and Sainz for a few laps and actually would already get past them. And as we came to the 2 laps to go, he was already within 3 seconds of myself on that set of soft compound tires. Obviously, that soft compound tires can have way more grip and just way more pace than my hard compound tires were. So I was very thankful that we were on this final lap of this GP already here, and he was 2.4 seconds back, and Max Verstappen was already out of the final turn down the front straightaway to come through and win here in Portimao. So Verstappen wins race 2, and it's going to be his teammate of Norris there in 2nd place, and it's going to be the McLaren duo of Ricciardo and Vettel coming through in 3rd and 4th as well. The BMW is looking very strong here today, but we come through into now the final set of corners, and we would at least hold off our teammate of Bottas. So we are going to be able to beat Bottas here. It took a lot of luck on our side with him having a tire puncture in the closing 5 laps of this GP, but nonetheless we will beat him anyways here as we exit the final turn to finish in a bit of a disappointing, frustrating 9th place finish here in Portimao. And we didn't have the pace this weekend, but the car doesn't have the pace either. We need to go to work going into Monaco, where hopefully the pace difference isn't going to be as significant there. Let's head to the podium here in Portimao.
They take the checkered flag then here in Portimao in what has been another outstanding Grand Prix. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
There you have the podium celebrations there, as you can see the rest of the finishing order on your screen. Just like I said, a frustrating day for us here in Portimao. There wasn't a whole lot we had for anybody there up ahead of us now. Obviously, we had more pace than the Ferraris, but you can see the point standings right now down in 9th place, and it's a 10-race season. There's not a lot of time to get things done here. 29 points below right now, so obviously we're not far out, but we need some help. We're 5th in the constructors right now, behind AlphaTauri and that BMW team as well. So yeah, very, very straightforward. We got some work to do coming into these next episodes. You can already see me getting some more upgrades there into the car, starting development. But in the next episode, we head to Monaco. So that's going to be a tough one. I'm honestly not sure what to expect there without the braking line. I'm a little bit concerned for that one. I wouldn't be surprised if I went head on into a barrier and crashed out of that race. But obviously, we can't afford really any DNFs already this season. So it's going to be difficult in Monaco. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I will see you guys in the next one for the final Monaco GP of our F1 2021 career mode. Thank you for taking the time out of your day for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.